What's up, guys? It's been a while. I'm back. I'm back with SleazyWorld Go and Offset Step 1. This is the original track up here. I use this as a layout to place everything, but since it's muted right now and I'm just going to show you my recreation of it, we could kind of move that over there. Everything is color coded and labeled just so you guys, just so it's easier. And if we pull up the mixer here, everything is also color coded and labeled. I'm going to show how I'm going to go in depth with all of this. So yeah, let's do it. So starting off with the instruments, which are in purple here, we're going to start off with the original piano chord. So I got this using two instruments, or two VSTs, I should say. The first one is Hybrid Keys by Complete Control. So I went on types, piano/keys, and then I went to ambient planet, and I did mess with these settings. It's mostly on dynamic C7. You can see the blend over there is 90% dynamic. This is more of a pad. Yeah, padscape, it's a pad. But yeah, I did mess with all these. So if you want to get that sound, you can copy these settings. And then the second one I used was Flex, Essential Pianos, Electric Piano Bright. I did take off the delay and the reverb, and I did mess with all of this, mostly these, and just added a release. But yeah, so the MIDI, the MIDI for the hybrid keys, which is this one, is this, right? If you guys want to copy these, like I said before, or like I have said before, I don't know anything about music theory, so all this is by ear. So if these notes are wrong, let me know, correct me in the comments, because a lot of people do that. So I did add some variation with the velocity here, and you could see that they're not perfectly on the grid, they're not perfectly quantized. So yeah, these are the notes for the hybrid keys, and then for the flex piano, right, this one, these are the notes, which is the same thing, except there's no root notes. It's just the top chords. I think these are the root notes. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, same thing. They're also not quantized, and they're shorter because these have a really long release. But let me show you how everything works. So with the hybrid keys piano, with this one, right? Let me bring up the mixer track here. So we have the hybrid keys are sent to piano, to mixer track 2 piano, right? And we have EQ and a TAL filter to TAL. I don't know how it's pronounced. Without anything, and without the flex piano, without the other layer, it sounds like this. Right, just like a regular piano. So I routed it to mixer track 2. I added an EQ2. This is the curve. Mostly just rolled off low end, a lot of high end, and then essentially sculpted the sound with, you know, taking these frequencies, like lowering these frequencies and stuff. But it sounds like this. Or at least I tried to sculpt the sound. And then I added the TAL filter. If you don't know what the TAL filter is, it's basically a free alternative to LFO tool. Basically, it's like an ADSR. I have it set to volume, and this is the curve. So without it, it sounds like this. And with it, it sounds like this. So you can see it has like a shorter release. And I also have it set to fully merged. To the right is fully merged, to the left is fully separated stereo. So mono, stereo. So I have it fully to mono because the bright piano, which is the flex one, that is stereo. So if we go to the flex piano, the bright one, the only thing I have on it is an EQ, which is just rolling off low end. So it's not really doing anything to the sound. So if I play it, this is it without any EQ. Yeah, you can hear that there's no root note in there. And then this is it with the EQ. So really no difference. I just wanted to make sure there was no lower frequencies going through and, you know, muddying the perfect mix I have. But yeah, so those two together sound like this. And another thing to note is I have both of these sent out to the master, and also you can see right here that they're also sent out to a reverb send, and this send goes out to the master as well. So yeah, there's really not that much reverb on it per se. Yeah, the electric piano bright isn't on a send, just the piano and the other piano that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But yeah, this one's sent out to reverb. I mean, you can barely tell it's there, but you can still tell, right? So on the reverb, I just have this reverb here, if I can get it to show. I'm not sure how this is pronounced. However, SAR by Softtube. Just have, you know, if you want to copy these settings. And then I also have an EQ on there. Yeah, it just rolls off all the low end on the reverb. Yeah, I don't have anything delayed, so all of that's turned off. But yeah, so the next instrument, I guess you could say, would be these high notes over here. They don't, I mean, they come in here and there. They do add some variation. If you're not paying attention, you could miss them because they're not really prevalent in the song, but they're there. So I decided to add them. So these are the notes. The VST I used, I believe was, yeah, Flex, Essential Pianos, Close or Close. Don't know how that's supposed to be pronounced. I'm pretty sure it's Close Grand. These are the settings. Again, I took the delay and the reverb off because I added the reverb through a send. I like to use reverb sends. I don't like to use the actual reverbs on the VSTs. You could if you want to, but I like to process everything like outside and make sure it's all clean. Because I also like to do processing after when I send it to a mixer track, and you would end up processing the reverb and the delay, and I could go more in depth with that in another video. But yeah, this is what I use for these. These are the MIDI. That's the MIDI. For the mixer, I think I just rolled off a lot of the low end and low mid, and it's also sent to that reverb, which is then sent to the master. So that sounds like this. Another thing to note, the velocity is different on each key, and these are perfectly quantized because why not? So next up we have the 808. Nothing too crazy. This is the MIDI for it, if you guys want to check that out. Nothing too crazy on it. I think it's a Cashmere yeah, it's a Cashmere sample. You can find this 808 anywhere. Everybody uses Cashmere samples. It's probably going to be in all the 808 packs. The only thing I really did was I pushed the out up all the way, and the sample start I nudged it a bit because there was a kick in this sample and it was colliding with the kick that I was using, so I just decided to take it out altogether. Volume envelope, I have this set to square. What this does, if you don't know real quick, when you stop pushing the MIDI, or when it stops reading the MIDI, it stops the sound. There's no release or tail on it. It just stops it completely. If you do want a tail, you can adjust the release on it, but I'm used to this. You can also do this by pushing cut itself without doing this whole thing, but I'm just so used to doing this, like it's ingrained in my memory, so I'd rather just do this. You can see right here that it's set to the note of D, to the key of D, note D, I don't know, however that's pronounced. So it's usually right here, set to C5, but since it's at D, you can just right click to D and then it sets it to D. So now this is true to the key. So yeah, that's kind of all I did with the sample. So if we go to the mixer track, so right here, it's 808. It's just routed straight to the master. We have a soft clipper, a Fruity Blood overdrive, and an EQ. So without any effects, it sounds like this. Nothing too crazy. And then with the soft clipper, sounds like Fruity Blood overdrive, sounds like this. And then with an EQ. So I wanted to roll off most of the lower frequencies because that's where a kick is going to sit. So I'd rather just roll it off. And then I rolled off a lot of the high end. Like I said, this is a really rough mix down. So, I mean, you would probably do more than this, but just for the sake of the video, I just did it like that. So next up we have drums, which would be kick 1, snare 1, and snare 2. The snares are layered and the kick is not. So let's do the kick first. Kick, I forgot what pack I got this from, but it's just a kick. I don't think this really isn't tuned. The only thing I did was I set it to stretch pro and I pitched it down 300 cents. I didn't really do anything else here, just that's kind of what I did. Sent it to mixture track 1, goes straight to the master. There's an EQ on it and a soft clipper. Oops, yeah, soft clipper. Without any effects, sounds like this, right? With the EQ and then with the soft clipper. So nothing too crazy, and just like I said, just straight to the master. Then we have snare 1. So snare 1, I don't really think I did anything, just adjusted the length and the out. Oh, and also this EQ knob here, set it to 47%, negative 47%. Didn't do anything else, just that. And then sent that to mixture track 7. There's no effects on this, but since it's layered with snare 2 here, which is this one, I adjusted the out, didn't really do anything. Oh, the EQ, set it to negative 48%, nothing else. So this is sent to mixture track 8. There's no effects on it. But if you could see here, these are routed to the snare group right here. So they're not routed to the master, they just go straight to the snare group, both of them. And then the snare group is routed to the master. And on the snare group, I have an EQ, which basically just rolls off the low end, just so it doesn't interfere with the 808 or the kick or anything like that. They're both set to mono, including the kick as well, mono. Generally, you want to set your drums and your 808 to mono, or your drums and your sub to mono. But I mean, it's music, you can do whatever you want. But yeah, so they're both set to mono, sent to a snare group, and then snare sends out to master, and then kick is just straight master. Next up, we have the hi-hats, or the hats. We have open hats, closed hats, and a triangle. So let's start off with the first open hat here, which is this one. You know, just pitched it up 200 cents, negative 100 cents for the Foreman, set to stretch pro. I adjusted the sample start because I'm pretty sure I had a crazy transient. Also, the other one had a crazy transient too, I think. So I adjusted the sample start time. Also the out, the release, I believe that's what it is, technically a release. Boosted it because it was a really low sample. So I boosted the volume on it, and then the EQ set that all the way down, or all the way to the left, I would say. That's really it, didn't do anything else. That's also sent to mixer track 9. And so here, so this went unnoticed for a while, I didn't know, but this is actually an EQ down here, and it's on every track, every mixer track you have. So I didn't know this, but yeah, you can use this to save up CPU. Instead of using like a EQ2, you can just use this, and it's already there. So if it's something like you just want to roll off the low end real quick, you can just use this. So that's kind of what I did, and it's all the way at the end of the, I guess, the effects chain, so you don't have to worry about, you know. Anyway, I added a chorus, so without anything it sounds like this, and then with the chorus it sounds like this. Nothing too crazy. And then for the second one, it's this sample here, set it to stretch pro again. This one's at plus 125 cents. I think I adjusted the stretch time for both of them. Out and the sample start, same thing, adjusted those. And then I sent these to mixer track 10. This one does have an EQ. I don't know why I just didn't use the bottom one, but hey, I don't know what I was doing. But then I added a micro shift, little micro shift. So this is from Sound Toys. Quick note, I try to use as much free plugins as I can, but there are some times where I will use like third-party plugins. This is from Sound Toys. It's pretty cool. It's little micro shift. It's essentially like the smaller version of original micro shift, which is cool. Like I use that a lot. But yeah, so without micro shift, sounds like this. And then with, It mostly just widened the sound. I mean, I do have a little bit of wet on there. It looks like it's fully out dry, but it's not. But yeah, that's both hats. And then we have closed hat 1. Didn't do anything too crazy on this one. Just pitched it down a little bit, length adjusted it, sample start again. I had a transient on there that I didn't really like. And yeah. Track 11, and then I just used this to roll off the low end. Same thing with this one. Just adjusted the pitch on it. Same thing with this. Didn't really do anything else. I think this is sent to 12. Same thing, I just adjusted this down here. And then yeah, and then the triangle, bring that over. Panned it to the right because that's how in the song or in the track it's panned to the right. Adjusted the pitch again, and the out, and then this EQ, set it a little bit to the left. And that's kind of all I did. Yeah, and then I used this EQ down here again. Didn't add any effects on it. And yeah. So last but not least, or maybe it might be least because this only comes on once throughout the whole song, and it's a sweep right here. We have it in pink here. It's just an impact that's reversed, basically a kick with reverb on it and just reversed. Adjusted the length and the in time. The mod X2, just pulled that down a little bit and then sent that out to mixer track 14, straight to the master track, and it just has an EQ on it, and that's it. That's the whole song. So yeah, that's basically it. If this helped, drop a like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you guys want to do. If I butchered something or if I said something completely wrong, or if there's something wrong here, like a note or something like that, let me know. People do it all the time, and some people are kind of hurtful about it. So just know I have feelings too. No, I'm playing. Just that. Yeah, let me know if there's any songs you guys want me to do. I'll do them. If I can't, then I probably won't. And that's kind of that. But yeah, that's it. I'll catch you guys later.